What's going on, people? Welcome back to Straight Shooters. And today I want to show the ladies some love. And I want to ask, are we about to enter the golden age of women's basketball? Let me explain. Well, first off, we had tons of great women's basketball players, over the last few decades. I'm talking about Candice Parker, Lisa Leslie, Cheryl Miller, Sabrina Ionescu, Brianna Stewart, Kelsey Plum. I mean, the list goes on. Aja Wilson, Maya Moore. But if you know anything about the WNBA, since they became a thing in the mid 90s, they've never had a profitable season. In fact, they lose millions of dollars a year every season. And that's because of the lack of viewership, the lack of sponsors, which ultimately means less money. And that means that, they're not getting as paid as much as they would like to get paid. Well, let's talk about viewership. Last year, the highest viewed WNBA game was the last year's WNBA Finals, which averaged around 800K to about 1.3 million viewers. To put that in perspective, last year's NBA Finals between the men averaged around 11.5 million viewers per game. Well, this past Monday, we had two great games back to back. Start with the women's college basketball, starting off with LSU and Iowa. That rivalry, the rematch from last year championship game, had 12.5 million viewers, more than last year's NBA finals game. USC and UConn, 6.5 million viewers. You go over to South Carolina, who is not getting talked about enough either. They've been dominant for the last two seasons. I don't think that they're getting the love they deserve, but even their game, 3.5 million viewers. NC State, 2.5 million viewers. So when it comes to the viewership side of things, women's basketball, this new generation is definitely moving in the right direction. Now let's talk about, pay. With these NIL deals, especially like Caitlin Clark, the Angel Reese's, they're already making millions of dollars from their NIL deals, which is more than, what women are getting paid now in the WNBA. Like, I looked up the biggest contract in WNBA history, about 900K for 4 years. Well, Caitlin Clark is already worth about $3 million, and she just got offered $5 million by Ice Cube and his partners at the Big Three Basketball League to play 10 games. 4 years, 900K, 10 games, $5 million. That's more than 5 times the amount for only 10 games. So this just goes to show that way more people are watching. They got way more eyes on them, which will probably bring more, sponsors to the league. And on top of that, people willing to put their money behind them. So this is definitely a step in the right direction for women's basketball by this newer generation. I mean, look what we got, even outside of the ladies I just named from, Monday night with the Juju Watkins, who was my favorite player to watch for far as women's college basketball. Women's basketball, period. Juju Watkins, she, her. Paige Buekers, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, fla'jae Johnson, Cameron Brink, Camila Cardoso, Saniya Rivers. I mean, like, this new wave of players, if they can bring that viewership and their popularity to the next level when they get to the WNBA, and they start having more viewers and more sponsors,